Dr. Phyllis Collins of DietHobby.com. Some of you know me as the YouTube Grandma. Today I'm making my sugar-free cheesecake. This has 247 calories for one slice. A pan like this, a 9-inch pan, makes 12 servings. You have to cut it into 12 pieces. And 1/12, which is one serving, is 247 calories, 5.7 carbs, net carbs, and 7.2 grams of protein. Okay, so it's a pretty, it cooks a long time and it's in the refrigerator a long time, but it's pretty easy to assemble. Okay, you're going to start out with a mixer, and hopefully you will have already put your beaters, start out with the mixer, and then we're going to put in, 2 pounds, which is 4 of these 8-ounce packages of room temperature cream cheese. Okay, so it's been softened to room temperature. Now we're going to also put in 5 eggs, 5 whole eggs. I've already broken those up. We're going to put in 3 tablespoons of whipping cream, heavy whipping cream, and we're putting in a 1/4 to a 1/2 of a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to also add Splenda. First I'm going to mix this up a little bit, you know, to get the cream cheese kind of blended with the eggs before I put in the Splenda. Okay, that took about a minute. Now I've got the eggs and the cream cheese kind of blended together, and I'm going to add 2 cups of Splenda. Now this is granulated Splenda, and 2 cups of that is going to go into the mix. And that's how we're saving the carbs, and how we're saving the calories is from the Splenda. Okay, now I'm just going to mix this up, and the thing is that this is not a low-calorie meal. I mean, a low-calorie dish, because it's 247 calories, and that's a substantial amount of calories. However, like when I have it, I usually have it as my meal, or maybe I'll have a little green salad with no-calorie dressing and then have it as my meal. So it's high calorie in a way. On the other hand, if you consider that a normal piece of cheesecake, and it's a small slice, you'll see the slice at the end of the video when it's ready. It's a fairly small slice, 1/12. A normal piece that size would be 400 to 500 calories normally. Now partly it's because the calorie reduction is because we're not using real sugar, and the other reason that it's reduced is because we're not adding any crust. We're not using a graham cracker crust or a nut crust. We're not using any crust on this cheesecake. So crust is butter and graham cracker crumbs or cookie crumbs or nuts mixed together with sugar, and that adds calories to it. So we're not having that. So that's a savings of calories, plus using Splenda instead of sugar is a savings of calories. Now 400 or 500 calories is a piece of normal, but if you think about, if you've ever been to the Cheesecake Factory and you buy a piece of cheesecake, which is just a regular, plain, original cheesecake, that is 707 calories. And if you have the specialty cheesecakes, for example, a pumpkin pecan Cheesecake Factory piece is 1,079, and a chocolate chip cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory is 1,114 calories, and a chocolate peanut butter cupcake is 1,156 calories. So you see that you're looking at 1,100 calories for the specialty cheesecakes at one piece at the Cheesecake Factory, and you're looking at a little over 700 calories for a piece that's not elaborate, not special, just a simple piece of cheesecake. And the regular one, which is not Cheesecake Factory, which is less rich, is like 400 to 500, and this one is only going to be 247. So you can see it's an enormous savings in calories to do it this way, and this kind of food can go on a diet plan or a maintenance, low-calorie or maintenance plan. You just have to add it into your day's total. Okay, so it's mixing, it's almost ready. I have here a springform, a 9-inch springform pan. You know, springform because the sides open up and it springs out. And I have sprayed it with my nonstick coating, as I always do, so things don't stick. All right, the next step is just, it's mixed. So the next step is just to put it in the bowl. I want to lick the beer really bad, but I'm not going to. But I am definitely going to have to taste it. I know. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour that into this springform pan. There's no crust here on purpose. I didn't put a crust. And you know, the cream cheese, I know I told you it was softened to room temperature, and that's to make it, of course, easier to mix up. Easier to, you know, you don't want little clumps of cream cheese everywhere. You want it all mixed together. Okay, now I'm just going to spread this around. And I'm going to, you know, one of the things that I do is kind of tap this down like this and get some air holes. You know, if you're going to bake a cake or a pie or something liquid like this, if you do this, it'll kind of dump the air holes out a little better. Okay, now this is going to go into a 375-degree oven for 10 minutes. And at the end of 10 minutes, I'm going to turn the oven down for 250 degrees, and it's going to bake for another hour. Okay, so that's what we're doing. First, it's going to be 375 for 10, then I'm turning the oven down, and then I'm going to cook it for 250 for another hour, and we'll be back then. The sugar-free cheesecake has been in the oven, first at 375 for 10 minutes, and then at 250 for an hour. This is how it looks now. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm going to run my knife along the edges of the cheesecake just to loosen it up. And then it's going to go back into the oven, the same oven. I've turned the heat off. And I've turned the heat off, and it's going to go back in the oven that's warm just from the heating, and it's going to sit there for an hour. And then after an hour, then it just sits there. Then it's going to go, I'm going to bring it out, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. And it has to be in the refrigerator at least 3 hours. It's better if it's there overnight before you cut it. The sugar-free cheesecake is finished cooking and refrigerating. It cooked it at 375 for 10 minutes. Then 1 hour at 250, turned it down to 250 degrees, which took 1 hour more. Then I took it out of the oven and ran the blade around the edges and put it back in the oven for another hour with the oven totally off. Just still warm from before, but totally off for an hour. Then, after that was finished, that hour was up, I put it into the refrigerator, and it's been chilling for about 2 hours. It should really chill 3 before you eat it, but I can't wait any longer. Okay, so this is how it looks. I cut it into 12 pieces, you know, 4, and then each of the 4s into thirds. So there are 12 pieces here. Now I'm going to take my springform pan, okay, and I'm going to take that off like that. Okay, there it is. So now you can see, now you can easily see the cheesecake. There's no crust on this cheesecake, and there's no sugar in it, and that's why each piece is 247 calories, 5.7 carbs, and 7.2 grams of protein. Okay, now the first piece is always the trickiest to get out, but hopefully it'll come out easily. If I had let it chill longer, if I let it chill overnight, it would come out a lot easier. So it might break, I have no idea. I'm just going to give it my best shot and hope that it comes out smooth and evenly the way it's supposed to. Okay, so here, let's see. Ah, look! It happened. Okay. It came out very nicely. See the little slices here? There's no crust and no sugar. 247 calories for a piece. I would probably have a very, very, very low-calorie, light meal, and then have this as my dessert for that meal time. But now we'll see the taste test, how good it is. Okay, so I bet it's good. It's really kind of light and fluffy, and it tastes just like cheesecake. Come and see me, diethobby.com.